Amara was just a little girl, full of laughter and curiosity. Her days were filled with the warmth of her mother's love, the smell of fresh meals, the sound of gentle humming as her mother worked, and the joy of simple play in their small village home. Every corner of the house held a memory, every smile a promise that life was safe. But one day, the laughter began to fade. Her mother grew weak, her voice softer, her strength slowly slipping away. Amara didn't understand what was happening, only that something was terribly wrong. At the tender age of 6, Amara's world shattered. Her mother, the one person who held her heart with tenderness and care, was gone. The quiet that filled the house after her death was deafening. Nights became colder, days longer, and Amara found herself alone, clinging to memories of laughter, afraid of a world that suddenly felt too big, too cruel, and far too empty. Her father tried to move on. Perhaps he thought that love could heal all wounds. He brought a new woman into their home, a woman named Ifeoma. At first, Amara dared to hope. Maybe this was a chance for a family again, for someone to care for her. But sometimes, the people who wear smiles carry the coldest hearts, and Amara was about to learn that lesson the hardest way possible. The very morning after the wedding, the new reality struck Amara like a storm. Ifeoma's words cut deeper than any blade. "Wake up. Why are you still in bed? Do you want to be punished?" Every day became a cycle of fear and exhaustion. Heavy water buckets, endless chores, and sharp words that reminded her constantly that she was unwanted, unworthy, and nothing more than a servant in the home that was once safe. From dawn to dusk, Amara's days were filled with relentless labor. She scrubbed floors until her hands were raw, carried firewood and water until her small arms ached, cooked meals she rarely tasted, and washed clothes that never seemed to end. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, exhaustion clouded her mind, and yet, she never allowed herself to cry out loud. Her tears were kept hidden, soaking the pillow in the darkness of her tiny room. Amara loved school. She dreamed of reading stories, learning numbers, and sitting in a classroom filled with laughter and light. But every morning, she watched other children pass by, neatly dressed, backpacks bouncing on their shoulders, friends waving at each other. She longed to be one of them, to walk alongside them, but every attempt was met with slaps, insults, and cruel words. "You are lazy. You don't need school," they told her. And so, she was forced to stay home, her dreams chained by the lies of a stepmother who wanted her broken. But hope has a way of sneaking in when you least expect it. At the village stream, Amara met Mama Grace, an elderly woman with kind eyes that seemed to see straight into her soul. Under the shade of a mango tree, Mama Grace began teaching her in secret. With sticks and dirt, old scraps of paper, and patient guidance, Amara learned to read. Every letter traced, every word understood, was a small rebellion against the cruel world she had been forced into. It was a secret spark, growing quietly in her heart. As the years went by, Ifeoma's cruelty worsened. She shouted louder, demanded more, and punished harder. Amara's body bore the marks, bruised hands, aching limbs, a constant reminder of her oppression. But her spirit, though tested, refused to break. Inside, a small fire burned, an unyielding determination that one day, she would be free, and she would rise above the life she had been forced into. Amara remembered her mother's voice.
"No matter what happens, be strong. You will become something great."
And somehow, she found the strength to keep going. At night, when the household was silent, Amara would sneak into her small corner and study. Candlelight flickered across her tiny room as she traced letters on tattered pages, learning words, numbers, and ideas that had been denied to her. Each night, she stole a little more of her future back. Every word learned became a silent defiance against the stepmother who wanted her broken. She was building herself, brick by brick, in the shadows of cruelty. One rainy afternoon, fate intervened. Her father returned early from work, finding Amara soaked, bruised, and exhausted. For the first time, he saw the truth, her hands raw from chores, her clothes wet and torn, the fear etched across her small face. The lies that had hidden the abuse for years crumbled. That day, the father realized that he had unknowingly allowed the one person who should have protected her to hurt her the most. And in that realization, the first step toward justice began. Finally, Amara stepped into a classroom, not as a servant, but as a student. The world felt larger, brighter, full of possibility and promise. The desks, the books, the laughter, everything she had longed for was now within reach. Though she was older than many of her classmates, she walked with her head held high, knowing that every hardship she had endured had led to this moment. School was not easy. She struggled with the lessons she had missed, but she refused to quit. She studied late into the night, waking before dawn to review lessons and practice tirelessly. Every sacrifice, every tear shed over her books, was a step toward the life she deserved. The girl who had once been denied education was now determined to claim it fully. Amara's brilliance became undeniable. Teachers marveled at her intelligence, classmates admired her diligence, and soon, she became a symbol of resilience. The girl who had once carried water alone, whose small hands had been bruised by endless labor, was now standing tall, a beacon of hope for herself and for every child who had been told they were worthless. University brought new challenges, long nights, financial struggles, and the constant pressure to succeed. But Amara pressed on. Each step forward was a victory over the past that had tried to hold her down. She knew that the hardships she endured had forged her mind and spirit into something unbreakable. Years of sacrifice led her to the moment she had dreamed of. In a crisp white coat, stethoscope around her neck, Amara walked through the hospital halls with confidence. She had transformed pain into purpose, neglect into empathy, and suffering into strength. She was now Dr. Amara Okeke, a healer, a survivor, a woman who had refused to be broken. Life has a way of bringing the past full circle. One stormy night, the woman who had caused so much pain was rushed into the hospital, weak, frail, and in need of care. Ifeoma, the stepmother who had made Amara's childhood unbearable, now lay helpless, unaware that the little girl she had tormented had grown into something extraordinary. Many would have chosen revenge, and the world would have understood. But Amara chose something greater. She treated her stepmother with compassion, patience, and dignity. In that choice, she proved that rising above cruelty is far more powerful than letting it consume you. She had not become a doctor to repay evil with evil, but to show the strength of a heart that refused to be broken. Some children are shattered by life, their dreams stolen by cruelty. But Amara refused to be one of them. She rose above every hardship, every betrayal, every moment of despair, and became unstoppable. Her story is a testament to the human spirit, that even in the darkest past, the brightest future can be forged. And now, the girl who was once denied everything walks tall, not with bitterness, but with triumph and purpose. Amara didn't give up, and neither should you. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more powerful stories like this.